Right, Tanake, Taneo, Not Cassidy, Tabre, Soiree, Hugh Torrance House, Howell Hearts, Howell Manu. So what I said was, hello, my name is Cassidy. I asked how you all were doing, and I said thank you all for having me. Thank you to Hugh Torrance House, and thank you to the Earth, because I think that we should appreciate our Mother Earth in everything we do. Natural resources play a huge role in who we are as Indigenous people. So what I'm going to do is kind of talk a little about why genealogy is important for the Catawba Nation. Also, maybe talk a little bit about some history that may not have been touched on. And also, we will be doing a cultural performance outside. So I want to invite you all to come and wait and join us for that. And as you see today, we have a few kids here with us. Um, so I kind of want to introduce some of our performers here and talk a little bit about what we're going to do. So at the drum, we have my dad. This is my dad, Philip Plyler. So I credit a lot of my knowledge to him, from making sure that me and my brothers were always culturally involved. I grew up on the reservation on our family's land assignment that was now part of Rock Hill. And spend a lot of time at our cultural center where I now work. So I learned a lot of these things in the same building that I now work and teach in. And then his aunt, my great aunt, Elizabeth Plyler, she helped teach us pottery. She taught me pottery. She taught my dad pottery. She taught my brothers pottery. And she even had the opportunity before she passed to teach my nephew Connor pottery. So for multiple generations, our family has tried to keep these traditions going. And so with myself, I do not have children, but my brother does. And so now we kind of to bring them two in. So the two right here, Connor and Chloe, those are my niece and nephew. And then we have Kayla Brown. She's our cousin. And then we also have more cousins with us, Micah and Mason Harris. And we are all going to perform different styles of dances. Traditionally, you would see men often dress in much less clothing than this, depending on the season, correct? So it would just mainly be a loincloth and nothing else. But it's getting warmer, cooler, excuse me. So traditionally it would be more leather and buckskin. As it's progressed and as trade and all these other things have happened, we started adding beadwork and different styles together. So today, this is a powwow style dance that is shared through Native people in all communities. And so what this dance does is showcase the hunting and tracking abilities of Native men. And so as you see them going around, they'll get low to the ground and it'll look like they're looking for tracks. And then they'll get up and follow around and dance. And that is their war to look for this animal that they have been tracking and hunting. And so a lot of our dances are to reflect nature and things that we see or things that we do. So this would also help them in their efforts to become better hunters, to look closer at the ground. So please enjoy our Catawba young men doing the hunter's dance. Hi-yo, Achille, hi-yo, Achille, hi-yo, All right, so big shout out to our young men. Hope you all enjoyed that. All right, next we'll have some young women, Chloe and Miss Kayla, to come and do our fancy dance. And so this is another dance that has transitioned through time. It was traditionally used as a courting dance. And today it's used in celebration to showcase our dancers' skills and in competitive powwow. So the story of how this originated was traditionally you would, excuse me, for courting purposes, you would have our young single adult women. Neither of these ladies qualify. She's married. She's too young. Uh, and they would dance. And during their dance, if a young man decided that he found her interesting and he liked the way she danced, he would then go to the river, cut down a river cane piece of river cane and create a flute from it and then compose a song. And he would stand around as she would be working in the gardens or making pottery, and he would play his song. And if she enjoyed it, she would have her father or her brother or another important male in her life go and find this man. And and then you would have to get their permission to court her. And if she approved, then of course that's how they would complete marriage. But I myself, I'm kind of glad that has changed because I don't know how many people would get past my dad today. So for now, we just use it in times of celebration and to bring happiness and just showcase this different athletic ability of our dancers. So please enjoy these two doing our fancy dance. Oh, shook, shook, come on, sky. Oh, shook, shook, come on, sky. Oh, well, 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 well. Ah, hey, ah, kick, come on, shook, shook, come on, sky. Hey, kick, go, jingling, shook, shook, way, hey, yo. Kick a wah, shook, shook, come on, sky. Kick a wah, shook, shook, come on, sky. Oh, shook, shook, come on, sky. Oh, well, 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 well. Ah, hey, kick a wah, shook, shook, come on, sky. Hey, kick a wah. Jingling, shook, shook, way, hey, yo. Kick a wah, shook, shook, come on, sky. Kick a wah, shook, shook, come on. Woo! Good job! With tribal dances, what we're showcasing today, these are some examples of powwow style dancing. And powwows are basically, the easiest way to explain them are competitive dance for Native people. And so if you've never had an opportunity to go to a powwow, I know there is plans for the Catawba Nation to host a powwow. And so as part of my job, not only do I teach culture and dance to the public and talk about Catawba history, but I work within our own community to revitalize traditions. And so one of those is traditional dance because these stomp style dances were really outlawed due to the misinformation surrounding them. Stomp dances were all up the East Coast with a lot of Eastern tribes, but they were misinterpreted as war dances, and they were assumed that these were dances that were trying to create an uproar within the Native community. So that was one of the reasons they were outlawed. And a lot of tribes had lost some of these dances. And so today, with our nation, that's something that I've worked on and I'm striving to try to bring back within our own community. And it is important for us because we do have these dances that we share, powwow, but it's nice to have something that is inherently Catawba. And so growing up in the tribe, there was only a few dances that we knew that were Catawba words, Catawba dances that were passed down. And through our, Dr. Robert Carter, with his access to more databases and other scholarly information and other work from Inslee himself in the archives, we've been able to find more information. Inslee himself was able to go up to Philadelphia and look at the original documents from Frank G. Speck. So his actual notes that he took while he was here visiting the Catawba people so long ago. So we've been able to look through that information and find things that we didn't even know really existed. Growing up, I was always told there really wasn't much information about what Catawbas looked like pre-contact or in first time of contact. But through our research and deep diving into historical documents, we've actually found mention of what Catawba looked like. And those documents that we now have and information that we can pass to our citizens to kind of bring back that more traditional look as to what Catawbas would have looked like pre-European contact. And today it might make us dress a little different. Our men would not necessarily be wearing ribbons and yarn, but more natural approach to things. But I see that they are ready. They got pretty quick ready there. So I will let them come back out again. It's our three young men again. And what they're going to do is showcase one of our other dances that we borrow in powwow community. And so this dance comes to us from the plains. And so traditionally, what they would do is they would send grass dancers out. And when they were scouting for different areas for them to migrate to, following their different herds of animals traveling, because our Western friends and our natives in the plains, they were nomads. They traveled. They lived in teepees, dwellings. So they weren't all established in one place. They traveled often. The Catawba did travel as well, as well as many other tribes on the East Coast. We were not stagnant people. They were always traveling. A lot of our major roadways actually intercept over some of these native trails that were utilized, because what better place to put a road than already on a path that was the easiest route to travel. And so what they would do in the plains is they would send out young men to find a good place that they could set up their camp. And they would come in wearing their long fringed regalias and stomp down the grass. And that's why it's called the grass dance. And so they would come out and dance in the yard before they set up their camp or before they did other ceremonies to help flatten this space out for us to use. So please enjoy our Catawba young man doing the grass dance. And this is another dance that is one of those dances that has to come through the powwow circuit. And so this dance was brought to us by the Ojibwe people. And so when I was a child, I was one of the first Catawba to jingle. And when we reached out to the Ojibwe, we asked for their permission for us to honor them and use this dance. Today, I don't think people as often go through that process, but for us, it was important to have that permission to represent someone else. Today, it's a really big style amongst Native cultures at powwow, especially in recent times. There was a big movement because this dress is a blessing and healing dress. And so during COVID times and during the pandemics, there was a lot of digital recordings of our jingle dress dancers sending out virtual prayers to our people to offer up healing. And so this dance, if you notice her, you'll see her. She's very noisy. Can't really sneak up on anyone. And but if you look, she only has 180 on her dress. But as you get older, you get more. So as you reach womanhood, you will have 366 jingles sewn on this dress. Each jingle represents a day of the year and one for the individual dancing themselves. And at Honor Beach, you will see that she'll raise her fan up. And that is again to send out those blessings and bring them back to herself as well. And so this dance is a healing dance. And so with the Ojibwe, where it originated was during the early 1900s, and there was a chief in this village, and his daughter was very, very sick. Modern medicine and the medicine men, they couldn't find anything to help her become better. And so he prayed and had a vision. And in his vision, women appeared to him and they were dancing in this dress. And they told him to create a dress like this for his daughter for her to dance in. And so when he woke from his vision, he had the women in the village construct this dress for themselves. And there was three made, three for the women dancing and one for the girl herself. And so as she danced through this jingle, first round, she had to be carried. The second time she goes around, she had to be assisted. But by the third time, she was completely dancing on her own. And so that's why this is seen as a healing and a prayer dance. So please enjoy the jingle dress dance. All right, so our next dance is going to be a little bit of audience involvement. So, what we're going to do is called a friendship dance. And so in Catawba, we don't have a word for goodbye. We say kate and until we meet again or see you later because we believe that goodbyes were forever. And so this dance is to celebrate that everlasting friendship in hopes that our paths will cross many times. So the number one rule is to stay holding hands. So when I come out, I will just jump in a spot somewhere, and the only place the circle will break will be in my left hand. So the entire time you have to stay holding hands or it will not work. All right? And so I will come in and we will spiral in, crossing, and then spiral back out. It works, I promise you. Looks like you're going to run into each other, but it works. And so this shows that our paths are going to cross in life many times. And so this is to reestablish those friendships in hopes that we will meet again. All right, so let me come out there. At the end, we will get back into a circle like this. I'll count to 3, and then we'll scream as loud as we can until the drum stops to celebrate that friendship. All right? Come right here.
going